All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things before we get underway. Just making sure that everyone can hear my audio coming through and that you're all seeing a presentation screen. Beautiful. Got an answer back that that's working successfully. So a couple of other quick housekeeping things before we get underway. Down the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q icon. That's where you can ask questions during the presentation. As it's a webinar, you won't have the ability to speak, but you'll be able to ask the questions via text that way. Or there is also the chat session on the side, which you can use to ask questions as well. What I'll do is I'll run through the presentation and then we'll come back and answer the questions at the end of the presentation, just so that we can keep the momentum of the presentation going. So without further ado, we'll get underway. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be running through a presentation and a bit of a sneak peek into some of the upcoming Grandstream products that'll be coming out in the next couple of months, we'll say at this stage. So we'll start to delve into that right now. A little bit about Grandstream. Some people may have seen this before, you may not have. Just a very quick, brief overview. We were founded in 2002. We're a US-based company headquartered in Boston. We have over 600 employees globally. Our product portfolio contains products in business conferencing, so that's both audio and video conferencing, IP phones, gateways and ATAs, networking devices, surveillance and facility access systems, and then obviously our range of award-winning PBXs as well. Primarily, we've traditionally served the small to medium businesses and consumer markets, although some of the products that we'll be coming out with in the short term will allow us to go into larger businesses and potentially into the smaller scales of the enterprise. Over on the right-hand side, we've got our global locations, obviously headquartered in Boston. We run two other locations in the US, one in LA and Dallas. They're both for R&D. LA, we also run warehousing for North America. China, we run our warehousing in Shenzhen and also in Hong Kong, and we manufacture in China. We have our support center for EMEA based in Casablanca. Our Latin America support center is based in Venezuela. We have warehousing in the Netherlands, and then we run our APAC support center out of Kuala Lumpur. A bit about the Grandstream mission, very, very timely at this point with some of the points that are in there. So at Grandstream, we believe in connecting the world. We believe every business, large or small, should have the tools to communicate from anywhere on any device. And then we design products to make this belief become a reality. Pretty appropriate with the way things are at the moment, where we're not necessarily all working from our normal office environments. We're working from different locations. We're needing to find tools so that we can work remotely, still get our job done, still be able to be in contact with people, and still be reachable. So very, very fitting mission that we have that fits into the current workplace environment that we're all finding ourselves in. I will jump into this one first. I guess it is new. It's not a new release because this one's already out, but it is our WP810 Wi-Fi cordless phone. So it's the baby brother to the WP820 that's been out for a bit over a year now. It runs dual band Wi-Fi and advanced roaming support, so we can roam from access point to access point across the facility. It has HD voice and a dual mic design. So we use two microphones on there. One we use for speakerphone, and the other one we use for the noise shield and echo cancellation. It has two SIP accounts and two lines. Obviously, we can have multiple SIP accounts. We can have a call, place a call on hold, make another call. It runs the same rechargeable 1500 milliamp battery as the WP820. So if you're running both types of phones on the same site, the batteries are interchangeable. It has a configurable push-to-talk button. So push-to-talk is a little bit like a walkie-talkie. You can push the button and send a broadcast out to all the other push-to-talk devices within that organization, allowing you to get a mass message out to people very, very quickly without them even having to answer the phone. And it also has a micro USB port on both the charging base and the phone itself for charging, as well as a 3.5mm headset jack. So we touched on the battery earlier. It is a removable battery pack. We do also have a battery charging stand called a GMC08, which allows you to charge up to 8 batteries for both the WP810 and 820 at the same time. It has them on trickle charge, so that if you're running a rotating shift type environment, you can just be swapping batteries out at the end of the shift and off and ready to go for the next shift. One of the other ones that I'll also throw in here that's already been released is the GWN 7605. So it's the most recent addition to our Wi-Fi range. It's a Wave 2 2x2 MIMO access point, or multi-user MIMO, sorry, over dual band. It has 1.27 gig wireless throughput and 2 gigabit wireline ports. It supports up to about 165 meter coverage range, so about the same as the rest of our access points. It has support inbuilt within it to have up to 100 Wi-Fi client devices connected to it, so 100 devices. And it will also do power adaptation upon detection of either PoE or PoE+. You can either power it, or you can either run it, I should say, through the inbuilt controller or through our free cloud controller, which is GWN Cloud. So just another addition that we've had recently, and very fitting when we've just been talking about the Wi-Fi cordless phone previously. But let's get into the real new stuff, the stuff that's still to come. So we'll touch in here to our UCM6300 series of IP PBXs. These are designed to be powerful and scalable unified communication solutions in an easy to manage platform. But the big thing here is we don't have a licensing fee. You buy the box, you own it. You have the ability to turn on all the features day one. You have the ability to fully load it with users day one. So businesses can use these to unify their communication technology into one network that includes voice, video, data, mobility, intercoms, facility access, and more. So essentially, this box here can start to be the brains of the solution, the brains of your infrastructure within that particular site. So some of the basic features. So there are different models in here. They'll support up to 6,000 users or 6,000 registered devices to them, and up to 400 concurrent calls. They have 0 configuration provisioning for Grandstream endpoints. So you can plug in the Grandstream endpoints, it'll automatically go out and find them and automatically assign them an extension number. There are APIs available for third-party integration like CRM or property management systems if you're in the hospitality space. And obviously some market-leading telephony features such as call park, forwarding, transfer, IVRs, music on hold, call routes, ring groups, etc. And the important thing to remember here, there is no licensing, so you get all of those features day one in the box, ready to use without having to pay a license for them. A little bit of a comparison here between the models. So I've got a 6301, a 6302, 6304, and a 6308. Biggest differences here are the users. So we go 100, 1,000, 3,000, and 6,000 users. So that's registered devices to that particular PBX box. Then we have concurrent calls. So we've got 25, 150, 250, and 500. So they are the current concurrent calls running through that box. So that will include both internal and external calls. Everything except the UCM6301 has video bridge capabilities in there. So we can have up to 40, up to 75, or up to 125 attendees. We have voice conferencing bridging in all of them, ranging from 15 participants up to 500. And then as we can see down the bottom, the last digit of the product code, so the 6301 has 1 FXS port and 1 FXO. The UCM6308 has 8 FXS ports and 8 FXO ports. The 2 in between, no prizes for guessing, but the last digit of the product code relates to how many FXS ports and how many FXO ports they have. Getting into some of the more advanced features. So they have a built-in collaboration server. So what does that all mean? Lots of people throw around collaboration and everything in the industry. Basically, it's a conferencing server that's built into the PBX. So it's straight in there, it's ready to use, you don't pay licensing for it, you're ready to go with all your users day one. Obviously, depending on the actual box you're using will determine how many audio or how many video participants you can have, but you can fully load it up to that level day one, no additional licensing. Some of the features that they support through the conferencing server are conferencing. So that's video and audio, chats, screen sharing. So we can share screens between participants, whiteboarding. We can put up a whiteboard and we're all able to draw on there and we're able to share ideas a little bit like we've got a whiteboard up the front of the room. We can record, and obviously they have support for Grandstream Wave, which is our soft phone client. So you have all of that functionality built within the box, ready to go as soon as you unpack it. These ones here will have GDS Cloud compatibility. So what does that mean? So GDS Cloud is our Grandstream device management system cloud portal. So what that allows you to do is to configure, manage, and troubleshoot devices once they're out in the field. So the fact that we're offering cloud compatibility for this will allow you to cloud set up and configure your entire communications network. You can have a true turnkey unified collaboration solution managed in the cloud. And then you can monitor and troubleshoot from the cloud. So essentially what it lets you do is put the box at the customer site, have the physical box sitting there, which means you can put redundancy on there like 4G backup and the likes. So you can have that functionality sitting on the customer site in case they lose their data link or in case the internet link goes down, they are still able to run out over the 4G network. But because it's cloud managed, you're able to manage that PBX out on the customer site as if it was a cloud extension or as if it was sitting in the cloud. So you almost get the best of both. It's a little bit of a hybrid model. Things such as the monitoring and troubleshooting. So through GDS Cloud, you can hit debug buttons and you can start to do things like syslogs, trace routes, Wiresharks. You can do all them remotely. You can capture that data remotely without necessarily having to go to the customer's site. The minute you can cut down going to a customer site, you increase your profitability with that customer, because the minute you have to go to site, it's costing you money, you're losing your profit margins on them. But what it also allows you to do is to set some email alerts. So if you have issues with particular equipment that's out in the field, you can get email alerts to say that it's met that particular parameter and that there is an issue going on out at site. So it'll suit for the UCM series, and it will also suit for our range of phones as well. So anyone can sign up for that. GDMS.cloud, it's a free service. We don't charge for it. You can go to GDMS.cloud, you can sign up for your own account and you can start playing around with it. You can download the data sheets. You can see which products are currently compatible with it. And then over time, we'll be adding more and more compatibility and functionality into that platform as well. And then if we look at the inbound call efficiency, so we have a 5-level IVR and multi-language auto attendant, again, built into the box, ready to go straight away. We have call center suite and call queue traffic management. So we can start to do some call center work with it. We can start to queue the traffic. We can do all these sorts of things, again, within that box. We're not needing third party. We're not needing licensing for it. We support a number of voice codecs. Probably the one that stands out the most there for me is Opus, because we're starting to see more and more of a shift towards the Opus codec. So we'll have full band Opus support. And we support jitter resilience for up to about 50% packet loss on the voice side. So very, very robust for allowing for any jitter or flakiness you may have on that customer's network. Now we'll take a little bit of a sidestep. We'll start to move into our GSC 3600 series of IP cameras. So this is about revitalising our series of SIP cameras that we've had for a number of years, and also expanding our facility management solutions. So we have two models in here, a 3615 and a 3610. Essentially, they are very, very similar. They're basically the same, except we have two different case designs. That's really all you need to look at to determine which one. So the two devices offer weatherproof casing, wide-angle lensing, can integrate with the Grandstream endpoints, and obviously our facility management devices, which we'll get into a little bit later on in the presentation. Some of the basic features: they're IP66 level waterproof casings for outdoor deployments. Both of them are. So it's really, again, just determining which form factor suits best. They have smart infrared technology for optimal white balance and exposure. They support alert notifications via outbound voice or video call, and they can also email a screenshot when they detect movement. So this is part of the benefits of utilising a SIP-based video camera versus just a traditional IP-based video camera. They have two video streams in them. The primary is 1920 by 1080, and the secondary is 640 by 480. And as I've said before, they have SIP and VoIP support for video and audio streaming to endpoints. They also support GSurf Pro, which is our free video management software. You can download that from our website, and then you're ready to go. You can monitor up to, I think it's about 50 cameras through that one piece of software. They're ONVIF compliant for video management systems, allowing you to record the video that you're having captured by the camera. And they can also pair with Grandstream video phones. And another one of our new products that we'll cover off in a minute, the GSC3570, which is a HD intercom and facility control station. So we've got two different mounting models. So we've got a dome ceiling mount, and then we've got a bullet wall mount. That's the only difference between the two. 3610 is for the ceiling mount, 3615 is for the bullet wall mount. Next, we move into the GSC3570, which is our first high-definition intercom and facility control station. So it further expands our facility management solutions. It's a powerful intercom and facility control station, and it's designed to provide a dedicated device for managing communications, door access, physical security, and more. Typically, we may have seen people do such things with some of our Android video phones. If it's purely for being able to interact with an intercom and the likes, this may be another option that people may want to look at. So some of the basic features. It's a 7-inch 1024 by 600 capacitive touchscreen. It supports dual band 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, and it also has PoE network connection. It has inbuilt into it a full duplex two-way speakerphone with advanced audio cancellation. So we're again working on that echo cancellation. And then we have 4 alarm inputs and 1 alarm output. So we're able to actually trigger devices and we're able to feed into this device depending on what we're getting from external devices that we're connected to it. So we're able to trigger into the system if we're having alarms set off. We're able to use the alarm out port so that we're able to remotely release door intercom locks and the likes. One of the examples here is we have a door intercom with an electronic door lock, and we can have the door intercom there so that we can see the video from the video intercom. We can have a two-way communication with people using the inbuilt speakerphone. Once we've determined the credentials of the person, we can then hit a button on the intercom screen to release the electronic door lock. We can use them for paging. So what we can do is, as part of a paging system, we can have people ringing from a phone on the side. On the right-hand side, we've got one of our Wi-Fi phones. We can have that screen sitting as part of a paging group along with, say, some of our GSC SIP intercoms, our SIP speakers, and we can have all of them sitting in a paging group so that we can dial that paging group from our Wi-Fi cordless phone or our desk phone, and then we can page out over all the devices as one. So we're starting to get a paging system that we can spread across the entire facility, which can be for just general alerts or it can be for emergencies. And then we can also interface with them for facility monitoring. So we can use them to actually monitor the cameras. If we look on the screen of the intercom there, we have a little monitor button up in the top right-hand side. If we hit that, we can then monitor the intercoms, or we can monitor the IP-based video cameras as well through that screen. And again, we can then make determinations of whether we actually grant access to people or not. Now we'll take another little bit of a sidestep to GBC 3212, which is our entry-level video conferencing device. So it's a compact and affordable HD video conferencing endpoint to be utilised for TV and desktop monitor mounting. This particular device pairs with Grandstream's IP video talk meeting plans, so it can only be used with the IP video talk platform, but it enables users to create a virtual conference and meeting space with ease. So it's an all-in-one device. So it has a HD megapixel camera. It has integrated dual-band Wi-Fi, so we can connect it either via Wi-Fi or we can connect it via an Ethernet cable. We have dual microphones with noise-cancelling technology designed for about a 3-metre pickup distance. So again, just in an office type environment, like in your own individual office, maybe 2 or 3 people huddled around a desk, perfect type environment for it. It is a dedicated video conferencing endpoint, so you don't have to worry about doing firmware updates to your PC and all these sorts of things. It is a dedicated device. That is all it does. It simply plugs into your screen so that you can see the video from it. Other than that, it's a freestanding video conferencing device. And it supports both Miracast and AirPlay for wireless content sharing. So whether you're in the Windows environment or whether you're in the Apple environment, you'll be able to do wireless content sharing. So you're not necessarily having to plug devices into this to be able to share your screen. Some of the deployment scenarios, so I've got an entry-level video conferencing device in the office, excuse me, or we can have a high-quality mobile and remote video conferencing solution. So perfect from home, or let's say the webcam in your laptop, possibly not the best. It gives you the ability to be able to run it through this particular end device and create a high-quality video conferencing solution. Then we move up into the new top-of-the-range one, so the GVC3220, which is the HD video conferencing device. This particular device here provides an interactive and immersive video conferencing and collaboration environment. The 3220 brings a new level of video conferencing and collaboration to our video conferencing solution that we've had for a number of years. Getting into some of the technical specs. So this is going to sit at the top of the range within our video conferencing solutions. It supports Android 9. It'll support up to 4 external 1080p webcams for expanding video feed coverage. So then what we have is the ability to have one camera focusing on, say, the speaker, one focusing on the room, one maybe focusing on a whiteboard that we might be utilising. So we can start to have a multitude of cameras all sending video feeds through this particular device. It supports external Bluetooth or 2.4G Wi-Fi microphones, and it has one inbuilt speaker. Having said that, you can also utilise speakers on a screen, so you can run out of HDMI and use the speakers that will be built into the screen that you're using. It'll support up to 4K full HD video and up to 5-way 1080p video conferencing through its own inbuilt bridge. It has dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5, and 12 times zoom. So that's an optical zoom, not an electronic zoom. And it also has some AI facial recognition to identify and focus in on speakers, etc. Further rounding out the conferencing offering that we have, we're moving for the first time into GMD1208, which is a desktop wireless microphone. So this is designed as an extension microphone or a companion device for Grandstream audio and video conferencing products. It's designed to extend the pickup distance and increase the overall coverage range of the audio side of your conferencing solution, be it audio or video. So some of the basic features of it. It runs a proprietary 2.4G and BLE dual mode with Grandstream devices. So what that means is you can utilise it with any other device because it's running Bluetooth and it's running Wi-Fi. You can still connect it with anything else, but it has some smarts in there to connect a lot quicker and easier with Grandstream devices. It has a capacitive touch top on it with the mute button LED. So as we can see the image right in the middle, we can see whether we're muted or whether we're live by whether the microphone's crossed out or not. And over on the right-hand side, we have a little battery gauge that's going to show us when we need to be charging. It is a truly wireless design with charging stations. So this particular one has batteries built into it, and all you do is put it back on a charging station, to be able to charge the particular device itself, so that when you're utilizing it, you're not needing any cabling to the microphones. You can place them anywhere along a boardroom table or even next to your laptop, so that when you're, say, doing a presentation or a video conference, you've got a dedicated microphone device. And in that, it has 8 omnidirectional mics with roughly about a 26-foot pickup range. So quite a large area that it will cover. And then we'll use those omnidirectional mics to be able to do some echo cancellation as well, and cancel out some of the background noise. Next, we move into GWN Manager. So we touched into a couple of Wi-Fi points, a couple of Wi-Fi devices at the start. So all of our Grandstream Wi-Fi access points have inbuilt controllers for them, except the GWN 7602, which is the only one that doesn't. That's the little mini one. All the others have an inbuilt controller in them, or you have the ability to use what we've had up to now, our cloud controller, which still runs, which is GWN Cloud. GWN Manager is a software-based version of that. So it allows you to bring a controller into your own environment to manage, monitor, and deploy access points across your particular business entity. So this is to be able to keep all of it in-house. So it is free software to download. It provides centralized management of sites and access points. It has configuration templates that can be pushed, or you can create configuration templates that can be pushed out to either individual APs or specific sites. You're able to create customized captive portals, and you're able to create maintenance features or perform maintenance features such as pings, trace routes, captures, backups, and more remotely. So you're not necessarily having to sit there and get to the specific access points themselves. So it offers complete scalability of a Wi-Fi solution. There's no software limits for sites or APs. It provides full network monitoring and reporting. As I said, it is a free piece of software. There are some specific parameters around server requirements that will be available on data sheets once this particular product is released out to the market. But it allows people to be able to bring that management control back within their own particular entity or their own particular business. Excuse me. And it is an enterprise-ready solution. So it has bank-grade TLS encryption from end to end. It has certificate-based authentication. It has detailed user data storage and backup. So you're being able to record everything that's gone on, all the changes that are made, they're all logged, all these sorts of things. And the beauty of it is now with that GWN Manager, when it's released, you'll have the choice of either using the free cloud controller that can do all of that, or you have the ability to bring it in-house on a piece of software that you directly manage yourself internally. So that brings us to the end of today's overview of the new products that are coming. I'll actually throw the floor open to some questions now. All right, so I've got here, can you please cover on the connectivity for JVC3212? So the connectivity question being, you have the ability to connect either via Wi-Fi or Ethernet cable, and it is designed purely to be used with the IP Video Talk platform. GVC is supporting Miracast and AirPlay. If I have a device without these options, can I still have a cable to connect for presentation screen sharing? GVC 3220, yes, you can. GVC 3212, I haven't seen a physical device of that. I believe it will, but I haven't seen the physical device of that particular one as yet. Do we have any other questions? Other video device is Android. I'm not quite sure which video device you're talking. So we've covered off 2 new ones in here. We've covered off the GVC 3212 and the GVC 3220. They do, but the 3212 has been locked down purely to IP video talk. The GSC 3570, will it support other video intercoms? Yes, I believe it will. What else do we have here? With the SIP cameras, does the SIP endpoint need to be a dedicated phone, or can it call any endpoint? It'll be able to call any SIP endpoint that is able to take SIP video. So it will be able to do that to any of them. So you'll have that functionality in there. A little bit like what we already do with our door intercoms, the GDS door intercoms, which are SIP-based. We can actually send a live video feed from them straight through to either our Android video phones or the Wi-Fi cordless phones. So the functionality is there. Mel, I'll take your question offline and we'll cover that one. These products are due to be released over the next 2 to 3 months, so there'll be a scattered launch of them. So they'll come out gradually over the next 2 to 3 months. The GSC 3570 we've just announced. That was announced the other day. And then the others will slowly come out over the next 2 to 3 months. Any further questions from anybody? My email address is showing on the last screen that's showing, or the last slide that's showing on your screens at the moment. So if you have individual questions, please feel free to reach out to that email address, and I'll come back and answer those questions for you as well. But do we have any other further questions that people want to ask while we're on the webinar? If not, we'll start to wind it up in the next couple of minutes. No, sounds like we're getting towards the end of it. I don't have any other questions coming through at the moment. So what I'll do then, if that's the case, is we'll wind today's webinar up. I will thank everyone for their time in dropping in to have a bit of a look at the sneak peek as to what's coming. And as the products are released, I'm sure you'll see more pushed out into the marketplace around them with product launches and releases. And based on that, I'll wish everyone a great afternoon, and thank you for your time.